Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of Greater Naples. I'm Martin Parks, your worship associate, and along with Reverend Jennifer Dant at the pulpit, Stu Shelton on the piano, Daniel Goodsit at the console, Steve Espinosa at the mic, John Forsyth at the ready, and Larry McCarthy on PowerPoint, we are all honored to be with you today. At UUCGN, our mission is powerful. We are a welcoming community, freely seeking intellectual and spiritual growth. We strive to create a larger community of peace, justice, and love together. This morning, we would especially like to welcome all of you who are new to us. Please plan to visit us in the Facebook Live chat so that we can say hello, and then email our administrator at office@uunaples.org so that we can include you in our regular email notices, which relate all of the excellent educational and community building activities going on here and online. In fact, next Sunday, Reverend Tony will be leading a Memorial Day service. He asks that if you have recently lost a friend or loved one that you would like remembered, consider sending Reverend Tony their name and a photo, if you'd like, to be shared during the service. You can send your information to minister@uunaples.org. Also, UUCGN has designated Sunday, June 13th, as Celebration Sunday. Let's celebrate what we've accomplished this past year despite the pandemic. Please plan to send in a recent photo, perhaps doing something typical of you or your family this past year, and we'll show the photos during a segment of the June 13th service. Remember, too, that we'll be celebrating the world premiere of the UUCGN Virtual Choir in a performance put together under the guidance of Stu Shelton. But this morning, we are especially grateful to have one of UUCGN's affiliate ministers sharing her thoughts with us, the Reverend Jennifer Dant. Chaplain Jen, as she is known at the Naples Community Hospital, spent 25 years as a nurse practitioner before transitioning to the ministry. It was the power of being present to others and their stories that led her to explore spirituality in healthcare and ultimately to healthcare chaplaincy. Her 3 children, Jack, Macy, and Marina, were proudly brought up in this very congregation. For playtime, Reverend Jen enjoys getting good dog medicine from her golden doodles, Izzy and Frankie, as well as losing money on back porch games of Yahtzee with her husband, Roger, who also is an affiliate minister with UUCGN. However, did you know that Jen was also our former director of religious education and is the author of the children's book, Unitarian Universalism is a Really Long Name? Published in 2006 by Skinner House Books, this book is beautifully written and illustrated. It's been illustrated by Ann Carter. It was designed specifically for young people, ages roughly 5 to 10. But I must tell you, it is also a wonderful resource for those of us who are a little older than 5 to 10. For example, the chapter titles include Who Are We? What Do UUs Believe? And Do We Pray? What affects my heart in particular is that it includes the chalice lighting. We are the Church of the Open Mind, the Church of the Helping Hands, and the Church of the Living Heart. But wait, that's not all. You can get your own personal copy of Unitarian Universalism is a Really Long Name today, just $12 on Amazon. And if you order through Amazon Smile, a donation will be made to your favorite charitable organization, UUCGN, of course. It's a win-win and win. Welcome, Reverend Jen. We are looking forward to your reflections and insights this morning. But now, let's sit back, take a deep breath or two, and settle into our time of worship as Stu Shelton plays this morning's prelude.
Good morning. What a joy it is to be back with all of you out in virtual land today. I can assure you that my introduction was a bit more detailed than what I had originally sent to Martin. Thank you. Often we are found in our grief and comforted, calmed by some kindness, brought alive again by beauty that catches us undefended. Even when the sun is most thin and far, even at the hour the storm is at its height, we can go through. Renewal nests within sorrow, love abides, even beyond anger, beyond death. We are held in an embrace invisible but infinite, moving with all creation between wholeness and fragmentation, but moving always towards the one. Small joys, great sorrows past, and we, with steps uncertain, move on to whatever is next. But continually seen, heard, held by life infinite, intimate and abiding, love, do not let us go. Please join me in the response for the chalice lighting this morning. In the light of truth, the warmth of community, and the fire of commitment, we gather this day. May the flame we now light be to us a symbol of the unity we seek. Our first hymn this morning, Touch the Earth, Reach the Sky. Steve Espinosa.
Reach the sky, walk on shores while spirits fly, over the ocean, over the land, our faith a quest to understand. Touch the earth, reach the sky, children ask the reasons why. In our lives the answers show, and by our love they learn and grow. Touch the earth, reach the sky, all are born and all shall die. Life's the time left in between to follow a star, to build a dream.
I left the intensive care unit in tears this week. Well, almost in tears, because I felt them coming and I thought, not now. There's no time to cry. That comes later because there is just so much to do. The heaviness is always with me. The visuals in my mind of the intubated, sedated, and bandaged bodies. Room after room after room. Heavy blankets of sadness and dread. What good do the intentions and prayers of healing do? If I'm being honest, my real prayer is an angry, cursing lament aimed at deniers, hoaxers, self-focused individuals who can only see themselves. And these are the people who keep my staff exposed, running, moving, exposed, moving on the hamster wheel of failed breathing trials, skin breakdown, grieving families, and exhausted colleagues. The critical care doctor says, I have these awful conversations with families 3 and 4 times a day. When will it end? He and I sit in silence because there is no answer. The deeper diseases of greed and ignorance, fear, racism, privilege are really what I rage against. Helpless, except to bear witness and hold space for the staff. But like my prayers, it feels useless, worthless, unable to provide any real relief. No real change, no sustained release. And here I am, wrapped in the weariness, feeling impotent, which, if not handled, renders me useless. I am not separate. I am not immune from the collective trauma. For our centering hymn, I ask, take a moment, be still, and be present to our time together this morning.
I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open. I know this rose will open. I know my fear will burn away. I know my soul will unfurl its wings. I know this rose will open.
We are an extraordinary fellowship, a welcoming community where we find connection, a spiritual community where we find meaning, a sharing community where our joys are amplified, and a caring community where our sorrows are lessened. Each week during our service, we set aside this time of community, a time we come together to share our individual joys or sorrows, and in doing so build bonds of love and understanding. At this time, we remember those in our lives who are struggling or who are celebrating milestones. We honor those in the wider community who are ill with the virus, who have lost a loved one, or who serve on the front lines to help and to serve others. We hold them in our hearts. With sadness, we learned that Keith Wang died this past Wednesday. We hold Keith's wife, Julie, and their children, Richard and Sarah, in our hearts. Please take a moment now to light a flame or to speak aloud the name or names of those in sorrow or in joy that you too carry in your heart. In this morning's meditation, the thing is, poet Ellen Bass contends that especially in these days of collective anxiety, words have power. The power to provide comfort, the meaning and hope are all involved. Significantly, Bass, a chancellor of the Academy of American Poets, reminds us that we can choose to lean in, open up, and say yes to life. She writes, "The thing is to love life, to love it even when you have no stomach for it, and everything you've held dear crumbles like burnt paper in your hands. Your throat filled with the silt of it. When grief sits with you, its tropical heat thickening the air, heavy as water, more fit for gills than lungs. When grief weighs you down like your own flesh, only more of it, an obesity of grief, you think, how can a body withstand this? Then you hold life like a face between your palms, a plain face, no charming smile, no violet eyes, and you say, yes, I will take you, I will love you again."
It is said in 64 AD, Emperor Nero simply played his fiddle while Rome burned. More adage than history. But I discovered an interesting article that really delved into the real Nero, and the author played with the two meanings of the word fiddle, or to fiddle. The first as in playing the instrument, The second is to fiddle around. She fiddled with the pencil or fiddled with her hair. I have witnessed and felt the damage that comes from not just ineffectual but harmful leadership. We all have in the last few years. Many have died from it. Yet, is there not a necessity for play, laughter, celebration in the face of difficulty? Don't misunderstand me. I'm not endorsing a cavalier, let them eat cake attitude. Another inaccurate attribution, this time to Marie Antoinette when she was faced with word of her people's hunger and starvation. At work, amid distress, grief, trauma, once a family or patient makes a wry joke on their own or chuckles at a memory, it's a sign healing and resiliency are possible. I watch for those moments. Douglas Wood's third old turtle book, Questions of the Heart, claims that when we play, we do the work of heaven. Alone, we discover our heart's own delight. And together, our joy is multiplied. Wonder creates space where connection, imagination, creativity abounds. First Nations coyote and raven, Mullah Nasruddin from the Islamic tradition, the naive questions of the Buddha, the confusing parables of Jesus. Every religious tradition has their trickster, the holy fool, the divine clown. Through play, we find possibility and sometimes even hope. Through joy and creativity, we discover our whole selves, our holy selves. So may we savor the cake and share it with those needing nourishment. May we play our fiddle, and may our music inspire others to move and to dance. The musical response today is definitely a gift of music and joy and creativity from the Aeolians from Alabama. At the end, there will be some silence. We're using the whole thing beginning to end because it is such a beautiful gift. And I hope and I'm happy to share it with you today.
Hello everyone. Crazy times, huh? On March 11th, the World Health Organization declared COVID-19 a global pandemic. And it seems as if the world has come to a screeching halt. And in times like these, it's natural for everyone to be anxious and scared and not really sure of the future. There's a song that got us through one period in time. And I believe that same song can get us through this period. So from my family, the Aeolians, and myself, we just simply want to say, hold on, let's keep each other in prayer. And at the end of this, we can say we use this time to reset, to relax, and to recalibrate and become more connected with the community. Such a beautiful thing. I've seen more of my neighbors in these last few weeks than I've ever seen. So hold on, and we'll get through this together. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome. We shall overcome.
hand in hand. We'll walk hand in hand someday, someday. Deep in my heart, I do believe that we'll walk hand in hand. We shall
In seeing those images, I can't help but think how far we've come. We have a long way to go, but at least we can now buy toilet paper in most places. So to speak of play, I don't mean the grand recreations we like to distract ourselves with, jet skis, golf course, beach trips, cruises. Those things have their place. But play is the work of tending to our spirits is different. In the tarot deck, the Fool, one of the major arcana, is to expect new beginnings, new possibilities, because the Fool reminds us that in childlike wondering comes new ways of being. In playing, we suspend reality, the rationality, we agree on the rules, we act as if a mango becomes a football. And bubbles offer something magical when they float over a hospital bed. Instead of building endurance for the difficulties of life, we find ways to foster resilience. Gritting our teeth in order to push through because we have to is different than engaging in real time, being present to the opportunities, discovery, like time to make a dad joke. Caffeine. Let's try something. Daniel, I'm going to go down front. This might be a little surprise to you. But I'm going to share something that we do in the hospital. It's called Shake It Off. And I know I'm aware there's a lot of ableist language in our readings and our music today, but anybody can do this. All you have to do is wiggle what you got, whether it's a finger or you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Now, if you join me, check in with yourselves. Does your energy feel different? And if you didn't join me but laughed at me, go ahead, laugh at me. Hold on, it's coming. If you're feeling discomfort or think that this is ridiculous for a Sunday morning, that's okay too. Because to suspend the expected behaviors we typically adhere to is a powerful thing. It's subversive. It can be dangerous. Imagine if we suspend judgment and live as if, or wondering, I wonder, when faced with fear. Think how amazing it could be. Anthropologist Wade Davis says other cultures are not failed attempts of being you. They are unique manifestations of the human spirit. Can you imagine if we really lived that way? What if through playful, imaginative engagement, we dismantled racism? Afraid of losing your privilege? Let's imagine together and truly what that might be like. What's on the other side of that? You don't get gender pronoun changes? How about we pretend we don't have to understand everything? That it's more important that we be in relationship and suspend the categories that we're so comfortable with. I have. And you know, my world is changing. It's wider, more inclusive. And as COVID dissipates, maybe not, let's give one another permission to still celebrate, share joy, laugh. Let us be preposterous in our living. Let us be foolish enough to wonder and believe that health, justice, equity really are possible. And when you are called foolish for your dreams, say thank you, because it means you're probably doing something right.
Now is the time for us to express our ongoing gratitude for this community, its work, its vision, and all the ways in which it nourishes our lives. Our offering allows us to exercise that all-important generosity of spirit that supports the work of this congregation through its many ministries to increase peace, justice, and love. For your generous spirit and for the impact it will have on the ongoing mission of this congregation, this morning's offering will be gratefully received. Please consider mailing a contribution today, or go to our website where you can donate, as well as to find out a great deal more about us.
Have patience with everything unresolved in your heart. and try to love the questions themselves. Love them as if they're locked rooms or books written in a very foreign language. Don't search for answers which you could not be given to you now, because you would not be able to live them. And the point is to live everything. Live the questions now. Perhaps then someday, far in the future, you will gradually, without even noticing it, live your way into the answer. As we depart this week, may you find some laughter and joy. May it be yours, and may you share it with one another. Please join us for the closing hymn, the last two verses.